filtering. Hello. We're waiting for
y'all come on
people
in.
pop up, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Come on in the room.
Yes.
I know that sounded a little off or whatever, but you know we
It
got
always does. She don't sing, y'all.
Come on in the room.
Take it down a little lower though.
Come on in the room.
Now bring it up just a little bit.
Come on in the room.
Oh, that was pretty good. I like that one.
Okay.
Yes, how you doing?
I don't know, y'all. Ever since I just always want to Peter push a chick. What am I saying?
Ooh, what is you finna say? What is she trying to say? He's supposed to what?
I thought we.
Oh my God! What's a what?
Jesus!
I always want to put a piece of chicken in my hand and dance like this. All right, y'all. You wanna go ahead?
Yes. Hey, come on, tune in, y'all. Share this. Come on, click on, tap on, come in. How you doing?
Y'all, I could have lost it all.
Don't sing though.
Oh my.
Holy Ghost.
Are you there for me? Right. I'm a savage.
Hey, classic.
Hey, go with What's happening?
Hey, what's happening? Hey,
I'm a savage.
classic, bougie, ratchet. Hey.
Acting stupid.
What's that stupid? That's the dance?
What's that?
I told you about that.
Ah, yes.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Welcome to the Righteous
And the Ratchet
Podcast.
Podcast.
We got to have a whole round table discussion on today. Guess what? We got guests. We got Ray Sorrell. What up, Ray? We got Whitney Humphrey. Hey. We about to have a whole conversation. First, before we get started, though, we got to give a couple of disclaimers. The first one. We all grown. Everybody up here is grown. So don't be calling our mamas.
Don't call my
our
mama.
grandmas.
Don't call my
no
grandma.
aunties.
Okay.
No cousins. Okay, don't call them because
Don't
we all
call.
grown.
Don't call.
Number
Yeah.
two,
True.
because we're grown, we all have our own thoughts and opinions that come from our own thoughts and opinions. They do not represent anybody we work for, any churches we go to, none of the above.
So don't be calling my boss. Listen.
Don't call bosses. Don't call the bosses.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
Don't call the bosses. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Number three, last and final.
3.
I kind of forgot the last one.
She always does this. Girl got amnesia. She always forgets number 3.
Just don't.
Oh, wait. Number 3.
Just keep it up.
Oh, this conversation about to be hot and sizzling. Okay? So you ready to sip your tea, honey?
Sip your tea?
Listen, no, I got this. You ready to sip your tea? Wave it off, because it's going to be hot, okay? And the conversations, the things that may be said may hurt your little soul just a tinge. If that's you, it's your turn to exit stage left or right or to the door. Okay? So we're about to have a whole conversation.
Everybody ready?
Strap your seat belts on.
Click, 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 click.
Here we go.
Okay, y'all. So, life has been happening. Life has been happening. So here today we're talking about the LGBT community. A lot of people have a hard time with allowing the community, allowing people in their life to be exposed to their sexual preference. So we're going to be talking about, that today. We have 2 people that are going to keep it real with you guys. Their experiences, their challenges with being who they want to be, identifying who they want to identify as. So the first question that we're going to start off with is, as you see these 2 beautiful people, I want to know what you guys identify as. And when I say what do you identify as, you have these people, people that wear wigs that are men, and they want to be identified as a man. I mean, they want to be identified as a woman. I'm sorry. You have, I guess, what do you call it?
Transgender. Transgender.
Transgender. So I mean, like they cut off their boobs, they cut off their dicks, and then they want to be.
God, right? We ain't Jesus.
And then they want to be identified as a woman.
Okay, can we eat?
Okay. So my first question to you guys is, what do you identify yourself as?
I identify myself as gay.
You identify yourself as okay, but are you more of a
Well, I think her question is, so you're gay, but do you identify as a man
I'm
or
a
do you
man.
identify as a woman?
okay? You identify as a man. What are you?
I'm a lesbian and I identify as a woman.
You're a lesbian. You identify as a woman, but you choose to dress.
Yeah, swag, baby. That's
Come on, swag.
This is just how I feel comfortable.
So
I
let me
don't.
ask you this though,
Yeah.
before you go there, because I think I already know where the other question's about to come up. What do you define as gay? Like, so does gay mean you only like, or gay mean only like men, or lesbian only like women? Like, do you have an attraction to men? Do you have an attraction to women? Like, what does it mean?
So Will Smith, if you were happen to watch this,
Oh, Will, how you doing? Entanglement?
Will?
you can entangle me
Oh,
at
please.
any time.
Holy Ghost.
At any time. But no, women are my preference. They've always been since I popped out of a vagina. That's all I've wanted. So this is where I'm at. Unless again, Will Smith, you watching this?
Okay, so that's a particular thing though.
Yeah.
So, Will, what about
What about Kevin Gates?
or Kevin Hart?
Good stop. I mean, did y'all see Kevin Gates eat that peach in that video?
So
Okay.
then the conversation is it depends on situation.
Yeah. Well, no. Okay. So let me be all the way honest because we need to be for real.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
having intercourse, having sexual relations with men does not do anything for me at all. I think men are beautiful. I love it. Kevin Gates is attractive. I can be attracted to a man, meaning I think he looks good. But for me, it's about the emotional and mental for me. Like
So it doesn't do anything sexual.
Yeah, yeah. Like we wouldn't even be able to. We can go together and look at this chick, but we couldn't.
Not together.
You know, not you and me by ourselves.
Right,
No,
okay.
we can't do none of that.
So then it's just it depends on the connection.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah, it's all
situational,
about.
it depends on the
Yeah,
connection.
no,
And
absolutely.
it depends on how big the bankroll is.
Come on, dollars on dollars on dollars.
I'm gonna be whatever you want me to be, as long as the money right.
No,
Do you
she's
hear me?
not. Don't even try it.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, thank you. She's not. She's not subscribing.
I mean, $4 million for $10 million.
Hey, you don't even gotta give me that much. Just give me a few thousand.
That's all it takes.
I'm your girl.
Not a few thousand, no, because I need to cut that. No. And
I was
thousands
trying to
ain't
get
gonna
cut.
do it.
See, I was trying to get a cut.
Because you
you
are
gotta-
me and me are you.
Listen.
All right, so
You gotta bring your family with you.
I got a question for you guys. Since you said that you popped out of the coochie with it, you knowing that you only like coochie,
Yeah.
you think people are born gay?
You know, I can only speak again from my personal preference and my situation. I've always been like this. I didn't.
But how do you even
I
know if
didn't-
you're an infant? Like you're a baby come out, I like coochie, I like coochie.
Nah, when
But for me,
Listen.
I feel like when you get to the appropriate age of knowing or being able to determine your what you like
Sexuality.
and your sexuality, I feel like that's when you'll be able to know. I don't feel
What's the
like.
appropriate age?
Well, for
Well-
me, in 5th grade, I knew. That was
I knew at 6. You know,
At 6 years old or 6th grade?
6 years old. But this is the thing, right? So as a child, I didn't know that I was a lesbian, right? I just knew that I had a stronger attraction towards
Right.
wanting to play with girls, wanting to be around girls, wanting
Right.
to do stuff like that. And then obviously as I got older, I understood that that attraction was really me just, I was lesbian, you know what I'm saying? I want to play with the boys, we want to play football, play basketball, but that's it, you know? That's it.
But my thing is, a man can give you the same thing that a girl can give you. Like he got a butthole.
No.
What in the world?
No.
He has a butthole for you to sit.
No. Again, so like I said earlier, my answer earlier, it's about an emotional and mental connection for me. I'm sapiosexual. For any of you guys that don't know what that means, is stimulate me intellectually. And not that a man can do that, right? Men can absolutely do that. They have that all around. But for me, seeing a woman, the way that she looks, the smell, I like soft skin, I like all of those things.
But what
I
about
like
a hair? It's a woman.
I don't like penis. Don't come over here with that. You know, hey, look, y'all remember the movie
donut shop.
Well, I guess I've always been interested in different sexuality, and I guess people identify me as inquisitive. As far as now, I've only been with a man, but I've always thought that I could explore being with a woman. But the woman couldn't be looking like a man. Like the woman would have to look like a woman with me.
You want a film? You want a film?
Yeah, film.
Yeah.
That's what it is, film.
Yeah.
Film, fam, whatever the fuck y'all want to call her. She just gotta, you know, because
You want to be able to share makeup and clothes and shoes and stuff.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I want to be able to go, you know, in the same stall and everybody not realize that I'm in there with a nigga, thinking that we're in there, you know, doing something, bumping coochies, and
Where you be at? That
Why do it always have to come out like bumping coochie?
because that's what you're doing. You bumping coochies.
Okay, honey, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. Baby, I'm not bumping nobody's coochie. All of that stuff that people see on pornos, that is not real. That is not how it goes down. No, ain't nobody. There's none of that bumping that's going on.
Entanglement.
Don't grind.
No
don't do
entanglement.
nothing.
No, not entanglement.
No.
Entanglement got to have a schlong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Long and
no.
strong.
Okay, nobody bumping coochies, Jasmine.
So do you think people are born gay?
No, I
So you think you have to come into it?
don't. Yeah.
So let me tell you what I think, because I happen to, this is no shade and no tea to anybody, and let me say this before I start speaking.
Hold on, before she
Several-
starts speaking, it takes nothing to support and share. It literally is a click of a
Absolutely.
button.
Yes.
So if you can please support our podcast and just please just click the share button onto your page. We're trying to make it big and I'm trying to take y'all with me.
Yes.
Y'all can come with me, y'all can left the fuck behind. Either or.
Not that
Go ahead.
we ain't saying that boy.
That's
Go
the
ahead.
word.
Lord
That's the
have
word.
mercy.
Y'all, this side of the screen is not.
Okay, really. I don't know what's happening. Today is just more aggressive.
She has some tension.
She's hungry.
She has some built-up tension.
Maybe she need a little entanglement.
It's a little, you know.
Come on.
Tone it
But
down.
before I get started, I have several people in my life who happen to be homosexual, lesbian, gay, however you like to.
Everything outside of heterosexual.
Absolutely, and I am able to separate the person from the choice. I absolutely love every person that is a part of my life. Majority of the people that I like to hang out with may not want to come out and say that they are, but I mean, it's just the reality of it, and I love them no less. However, my belief is not in support of the lifestyle. It's just not. That doesn't mean that I have to, you know, not like you or hate you. I just don't believe it. It goes on the piggyback of something Ray just said. He feels like it's something that happens, or maybe like you're introduced to it, or maybe emotionally attached in some way, or maybe you've seen it, or maybe you've been surrounded by it. That is because I am a psychology major, it shows me and reinforces the fact that a lot of times what happens is people end up making a connection to something or someone that they may not automatically know from birth. It's something that they come into understanding of. It's something that they make a connection with along the way that shows and shapes their idea. And that's what I happen to believe.
Well, my problem is because you said it doesn't go along with your belief, but little do we all know everybody, half the men in the church are gay.
But listen, let me tell you this, and that may be the case. Wait, that may be the case. And this is why, this is,
Just stay past what she just said.
The priest,
but listen though,
the priest, the
seriously,
deacon, the
let me
pastor,
tell you why though.
the choir director.
And this is why I said, and this is why I said we need to have the conversation, because instead of making people feel ashamed or making people feel down or making people feel like God does not love them, we need to have a conversation so that people can get to the place where they're more comfortable being who they are, and then figure out their own specific relationship with Christ. Don't tell me because I'm gay that God doesn't love me.
Exactly, because
Well,
one
that's-
sin is greater than the other,
That's
whether you
facts.
take it in the butt or the
That's
gut.
fact. Ooh, yeah, not the butt of the gut. But that's facts though. That's true because he hates liars. He hates liars just as well as he hates
Exactly.
thieves or killers, just like he doesn't. He hates the sin, not the person.
Exactly.
And I think that's where a lot of church people have a hard time understanding. It's okay. I love Whitney. Whitney
She don't have
has
the
been
choice.
Whitney has been in our family for a longer than long.
I've been
Whitney,
trying to get rid of her for a long
Ain't
time.
going nowhere.
our whole family though, seriously, she's been in my family for a long time, and I've loved her from the gate because I love Whitney. I don't agree with her choice, but I absolutely love Whitney, and it's okay to love a person and not agree with their choice. I think that's why this conversation is so necessary.
Exactly.
It needs to happen not just here on the Righteous and the Ratchet podcast.
But
It
all
needs to
around
happen
the world.
across the world, in churches, in
Absolutely.
beauty shops, in barber shops, and it needs to happen. The conversation needs to happen because at the end of the day, I love Whitney for who Whitney is, not
Exactly.
because of Whitney's choice.
So now that we're coming to this, what do y'all think? Being in the church, being outside of the church, what do y'all think a common misconception is about gay people?
Related to church.
Or about
I mean,
being
just in
gay,
general.
just in general.
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is people think that gays or lesbians, or anybody part of that community is that way because they've been touched on inappropriately or like.
You know what? To
molested.
be honest, I low key got a little piece of thinking that with me.
No.
I feel like somebody touched them when they was little to make them feel like have kind of envy towards a man.
And look, and I'm not saying that there may not be situations or people out there who have developed same-sex relationships because of things like that, but that's not my personal
Right.
story. And I just, like, again, I just love women because I love women, not because someone touched me inappropriately or because someone did something they weren't supposed
Right.
to. We didn't do stuff like that. None like that has ever happened to me. I've never experienced that before. So.
And the other part of it is, and that's, I'm glad you said that because it brings up the other part of it. The Bible talks about Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, don't be fooled. Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed because they became lovers of themselves.
Sodom
Not
and
Sodom and Gomorrah. A lot of people, a lot of preachers like to use that passage of scripture to say that it is, but just pray for me.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom
They
and
like to use that scripture to say that God destroyed a whole city because of homosexuality.
It wasn't
It was
of that.
because they were practicing homosexuality.
Yes.
But it was because they became lovers of themselves.
They were
What
doing
happens when
idolatry.
you become absolutely? What happens when you become a lover of yourself? You're willing to do whatever it needs to do to satisfy the pleasure that you see. And that's what happens. A lot of times in just not just homosexuality, but sexuality, you get so attracted to somebody that you're more willing to risk everything because you want to please the hunger or desire within you.
Well, let me
So
tell y'all, my next relationship is gonna be with a girl.
ma'am, it's not.
My mama just wrote me talking about shut the hell up and stop lying.
Look, remember that Facebook post you made about that? I said, girl, we don't want you. Stay over there. We don't know. We not claiming that.
Listen, if my soulmate is watching me, the world is in it. Come
No,
and
thank
get me.
you. So Andre, I'm gonna read a couple of comments real fast while we at this little break. Andre Hammock says, and you didn't want to stay in it, like move in and pay mortgage? What were we talking about, Andre? I want to answer you. So comment, put your question again. We have Troy says something. What did he say? Let me go back.
Girl, come on and
He
read.
says, I am a strong black gay man and proud.
Amen.
Phil says, I'm just proud. Francesca says, I agree, Danielle. See the person for them and not the purpose. And that's really, for me, that's a big thing for me because we had this conversation on the podcast about body shaming or body confirming, where people want to slap a label on you. I'm not a BBW, I'm Danielle, okay? I happen to have an extra couple of curves. She's still fine, but I'm Danielle. You don't have to slap a label on me. And if you get to
It's
know
not a
me,
label, it's a description.
it's absolutely a label.
If you big, you a BBW. That's
No,
a description.
I'm not.
A big old black woman.
You have to get too
That came in. That came in.
No, it's funny that y'all said labels because I was speaking to like my best friend in the whole world, and me and her were sitting down talking about
Veronica?
just that is one of my best friends. But no, I'm talking
Veronica, I got you, best
I'm
friend.
talking about Claudia, but no. So we're sitting down talking about labels, and I was saying, the whole purpose of just everything that we're experiencing with the Black Lives Matter movement, just everything that we're going through, just as a black community, as a gay community, just in general, it's like everybody doesn't understand. I don't like the labels, like yes, I identify as a lesbian, but that's just because that's a label that somebody created, and that's the category
To
they put
define
me
me,
in.
absolutely.
But I'm just Whitney.
Mhm.
I'm not anything else but just Whitney. We're all humans, right? So like, why are we trying to? I feel like labels give people the door to separate themselves from other things, and it's like, no, yo, like I'm just me, and I'm gonna treat you the same way you
I
treat me.
disagree. I just can't see it being as a label. You have on a red shirt, I'm gonna say your shirt is red.
Right?
That's
Right. You're slender, cause my sister, I got a fat ass.
It's flat.
My
Everybody
sister
with an L.
said, but you're describing me, right?
No, I'm describing your butt. It's flat.
That's
No.
what it is. She's describing it as flat because it's the description of
But
it.
I don't call you and say, good morning, flat ass.
You do. She do.
I don't. As a matter of fact, she calls me first.
But she always calls my ass flat. I feel like whatever your appearance is, if somebody
That's
comes and
not
says,
fair.
if somebody says, ma'am, put me in a brick room and try to question me and say, ma'am, what did that man look like who robbed the store? It had a fade.
That's description. That is a
No.
description. That is
No,
not.
so
There's a
look, I'm not
difference in
saying
there's-
we like that labels aren't there for a reason. I'm just saying that I hate that people use that so much, and because I feel like it
You
gives
hate it in a negative connotation.
Yeah, like
So,
no, you
so
just,
there's a difference in a description and a label. A
Yeah,
description
exactly.
says,
Yeah.
like you said, if
Big
I'm
belly.
calling for questioning,
Big black
what does
woman.
she look like? She got a flat ass and blonde hair and a big old mouth. That's a description.
No, big mouth is
If
a
I
label.
say a label,
Big mouth is a label.
no. If I say label, if I were to use label and they ask me what does she look like? Oh, she's black.
Mhm.
You black.
She's long legged and black.
no.
And what happens with a label, there's a negative connotation with the label. Description is not discriminatory. Description just says I'm describing what you look like.
Well, let me tell you, if somebody asked me, if Whitney robbed the store and somebody asked me what
You
did that
better not
man
never say I'm a
what
psycho
did Whitney
psycho
look
lady.
like, I'm gonna say she looked like a man.
First of all,
See what the-
no, time out. It ain't even. First of all, if I robbed the store and you snitched,
I'm not
you know,
snitching.
That's first of all.
Okay, you ain't telling nobody nothing. Okay, like what are you talking about? Snitches get stitches. And like, what are you talking about? Come on, bro. No.
So I do have a question.
What's the
I didn't come with questions, but I got a question. I want to know, what has your experience been in the skin that you're in church?
You know, y'all, because this, first of all,
And
just
before
like-
you start, let me
And
say
before
this.
you start, if you just joined, please share, please like, please comment. We are going through the comments, it's just a little, but it takes nothing to share. It takes nothing to share to your page. If you don't believe in our dream of this podcast, then get the hell on, get off the podcast. I'm just
Wait
saying.
a minute.
I'm not
Sure.
gonna read that comment, Kirk.
What did he say?
I'm not gonna read it.
He said my ass is fat?
No, he
Girl.
said we can get it bigger. However, I asked this question not because I want to stir
Yeah.
anything, but because I am from the church.
Yeah.
Let me refer.
Yeah.
I am saved, and I believe in Jesus Christ, and I love people. It's my desire to live my life like He's called me to.
Okay.
Let me say that. I asked the question though because there's such a disconnect between the church and homosexuality. Even though you see a lot of homosexuality in the church, my question is posed that way so that I can have an understanding of where the breakdown comes. So again, my question was, what has your experience been living in the skin that you're in the church?
Well, me personally, I haven't had a negative experience. I also don't, but when I say that, meaning I haven't let anything that people have tried to do or say affect how I feel or how I move through life.
That's amazing.
Because if you have an issue with something that I'm doing and I'm not doing anything illegal or causing harm, that's the problem that you have within yourself. You need to check that, right?
Exactly.
Number two, I think there's a common misconception that, you know, people talk about homosexuality in church, and again, people believe how they want to believe, and you're entitled to do that. But, you know, if we go to the Bible, we open it up, you know, like, God, there's nowhere in there that it talks about that it says the word homosexuality or homosexuals or refers to that. That word didn't come around until the end of the 19th century. The Greeks and all of that, then they didn't even have the concept or understood what any of that was until much, much later in time. So when you think about the people who wrote the Bible, they didn't even have that, they weren't even able to grasp that concept of what that was, right? So when we
But I mean,
fast
God
forward-
made Adam and Eve,
Well,
not Adam and Steve.
Well, no, and again, I don't disagree with any of that, but I'm just saying when people take homosexuality and they look at it, they take examples like Sodom and Gomorrah, things out of the Bible, and they look at that and say, oh, he's referring to the homosexuality acts. No, he's referring to the behaviors that were being displayed during that time frame, praising false gods, doing things like that, harming people, assaulting people. That's what he was talking about. But again, just following back to the question, I don't let that stuff faze me. No one has ever approached me at church or in this church setting like that and tried to question me about it. Except one time in my entire life, I was way past adulthood, and one of the pastors of my church that I went to since I've been a baby, since I lived in Austin, he asked me, he wanted me to become a deaconess, and he was like, asking me to become part of the church more and this, da-da-da-da. And then when I agreed to do these things, I prayed about it, I talked to God, I agreed to do it. He then tried to ask me, he was like, well, you're gonna have to change your lifestyle. You can't dress this way. You can't come in here. And I was like, well, skirt. God said to come as you are, and here I am. This is me full heart. And how do you know that this process might not have been what you think would have helped me get through
Or
whatever
led
something.
you, come on with me. Or led you to
or
come
led me somewhere. And I'm not saying that I would have turned straight or something.
Right,
I'm
but
just
it
saying,
could have
you
been a
can't,
vehicle.
you don't know
Absolutely.
what this particular journey would have done for me.
Absolutely.
And because you are producing yourself and showing yourself as someone who's supposed to be bringing the message, but then you down me and talk about, you know what I mean?
Like you lose faith in you
Yeah,
and
so-
everything else that come with
So
you.
needless to say, I haven't been to that church in a long time, but God bless you.
What about you, Ray?
What about you, Ray?
For me, I am not even allowed to sing at a church because of my.
I know you fucking lying. What church is
No, we're not calling church names. Not today. Not maybe part two, but not today.
I ain't get it right on together.
You have to
I'm not gonna call any names, but there is a church that I am not allowed to sing at because of my sexuality.
I'm sorry.
Actually went to this church and a 4 youth program, and I sung, and I got guarded by deacons because I had a shirt wrapped around my waist, like how the Wall Street or and because of my sexuality.
Change me, oh God.
I said don't sing this
Oh.
episode.
Made me
So,
more
I'm gonna
like
read
you.
I said I'm gonna read the comment.
Oh, my bad. Read the comment.
And then I'm gonna respond to
For all the new viewers, please share, comment, like. I see new people popping in and popping out. Please share. It takes nothing to support us. I already told you. Either go with us or get left behind. I'm just saying.
Yes. Atreya says, please forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but she says, ooh, Lord, I wish I was in this one. Church folks are the worst.
Worse.
I have been blessed with an awesome body to lead in praise and worship and be tried by my spirit.
Lord have mercy.
Let me say this. I'm going to apologize for the way that you guys have been treated in an establishment that is meant to be loving.
We forgive you.
I almost stuck the finger at you. See what I'm saying?
Well, that's-
She almost took me out of the spirit. Do you see how they
Not
took me?
today,
You see what I'm talking about?
Not today.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Not today.
Because, and the reason I'm apologizing is because, like Whitney said, a lot of times things happen. We choose things because we're in a place in life where we are passing through. People can be detrimental to the decisions and choices that you make when you are passing through.
How you move?
It is important that we, not just as a body of Christ, but that we as brown and black people, as people period, learn to love each other and cultivate each other. I say cultivate, I chose that word because there's a difference in supporting and cultivating. Cultivating means I'm going to challenge you where you are because I want you to be better.
Right.
Because if it's a choice that you're making because you're following behind someone else, I want to challenge that because I want you to be the best self you can be.
Right.
However, if it's also a place where you are, I want to challenge you to be the best person you are where you are in your decision.
And God has to make you uncomfortable in order to grow. So sometimes you
Absolutely.
need people in your corner, in your circle, that are
Absolutely.
going to continue to encourage you and show you that there is more than where you are. Be comfortable with where you're at as far as being happy and not being jealous, not being envious. Just be thankful for what you have.
Absolutely.
But continue striving for more.
And growth
sis.
is not
Brother,
easy.
that's
Growth,
always
growth
church.
is not easy,
Oh,
and
girl,
it's not
ooh,
comfortable.
Listen,
It is
y'all-
not easy.
How long
It's
have y'all
not
known me?
comfortable.
Where was I at
Absolutely.
6 years ago? Who
Yeah.
was I
I
with?
want
What
to
was
slap
I
her head
doing?
off her shoulder.
We're not talking about them.
But what I'm saying is, so have you been
Thank
back
you,
to
Lord,
church?
for deliverance.
Have you been back to church?
Listen.
Hallelujah.
Listen.
Woo.
Listen,
I
baby.
felt that thing.
Anybody who is watching this that knows me,
I said no singing this episode.
How sweet, how sweet, sweet.
No thank you right now.
Hey, you can sing on this podcast. You can sing right here on your baby.
How you doing?
Baby.
How you doing?
When two or more are gathered, okay? Listen.
Amber Marshall says this is the number one reason I do not follow any organized religion. So much division when God is really all up. Let me say this though. I agree partly. It's important that you find a place that is for you.
Right.
Not all places are the place for you.
Exactly.
I'm not condoning what has been done to anyone here or anyone in the chat or anyone here. I'm not condoning it. What I am saying is that you have to find a place for you because again, it's important that we learn to love the person, not the choice. I can love Whitney and not love her choice. Matter of fact, she knows where I stand on the subject. We can have a conversation and talk about it, and she can say, "Sis, I agree with what or I don't agree with what you say, but I love you and I hear you."
Yeah.
You don't have to cut yourself off from people because you don't agree with their choice.
Have you been back to the church since? Have you been back to church
To that church?
Just period.
Oh yeah, no, I go to church, not regularly. I just haven't found a church home for me that fits me. Not because I'm uncomfortable with my sexuality, but just because the church home that I've been to haven't been, my spirit wasn't touched by it.
My spirit knew the truth. You heard me?
Kirk said, "Ray should sue." Veronica said, "Meet people." Thank you, sis.
My
Meet people
sister?
where they are. Yes.
Hey girl. That's my sister, y'all.
So let me ask you this. I got one more question, then I'm gonna let you ask yours. So, do you feel, as a result of how you've been treated at the church, that God doesn't love you, or that God
Absolutely not.
sides with the opinion of the
Absolutely
church?
not. Absolutely not. Y'all, and my sister can attest to this, y'all. I was raised in the church home. We went to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, twice on Saturday, and 4 times on Sunday. But I know who God is, and God knows who I am, and we have our own personal relationship. And I don't think no one can control how I feel what my relationship is with God. Just like anybody, no one can control or tell you how to live your life. Like, no, God loves me the way that I
You
am.
gotta know for yourself.
Come on here.
Period.
You got to know, and that's
I'm on
why
my
I
own
want
journey.
everybody that watches this podcast. That's why I want you to be. Know God for yourself, and once you know Him for yourself, nothing else can sway you.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not condoning the choice. I don't agree with the choice. If I could have it my way, I would snatch everybody out of the lifestyle and find a husband or a wife, or find somebody to hump.
Because God made Adam and Eve. God didn't make Adam and Steve.
And I think the reason why the church has such a problem with it is because my belief, my thought is that when you,
Because it's not what they
but when
want.
you have sex with somebody, it's to procreate. That's the first reason he.
Not
created.
me. I'm not trying to procreate. I'm just trying to have sex with.
Oh, God.
You got one more time. I can't get that time. You got one more time.
At this point, baby, wait. I'm not trying to have sex with procreate.
So
I'm just trying to have sex with.
But I'm saying the first reason he created was to procreate. That's why he created Eve for Adam. And then told him go.
And you know why he named Adam that apple?
So
But
let
the
me
second
tell you.
piece of it was for pleasure. I do agree.
Oh, baby, because it's a lot of pleasure.
Holy Ghost.
It's a lot of pleasure, okay? Listen. But, so, we're talking about procreation. So, what about a man and a woman who are together and they can't have kids?
Right.
But they need to use...
This is modern day. This is modern day
Okay,
technology.
right.
That's
So,
what
why
I'm
are your thoughts, though, still back there instead of coming where we are in the future? You
But
know?
even
It's
still,
like you
yeah,
did-
no,
you
yeah.
know
I
what
agree.
mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, we can do so many things.
Yeah,
now,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And first of all, until one of us dies and can come back and tell us what really happened,
We don't
we
know.
don't know. Okay?
Yeah, right.
But I can make a child, right, by myself if I wanted to. I can go to
This
the
is
sperm
true.
bank. I can do it. I don't want that for myself. But I
But
can
you
do
might
that.
get an ugly sperm.
How do you
Don't
know?
call my baby
How do you know how beautiful an ugly
weird?
Is it weird?
So can you give us the names of
sorry.
what's the designation for each so that we don't keep saying manly girl?
So stud. I like to be called stud.
I think it looks weird when a stud and a film. Film is the feminine one, right?
Yeah.
I think it looks weird when a stud is pregnant.
Why? It's a woman. A woman being pregnant, that's
So,
the most
Because
difficult word.
your appearance is a man.
Well, then that's where I have the question. So then, if you want to be in a relationship with a woman, then why do you want to procreate? Why do you want to have babies?
I want to be a mom. I want to be, I want to have a family. I want to have white people finish my house. I want my girlfriend to walk around with her feet swollen so I can rub on them.
So what if she want to go
So
have
then,
sex
how
with
do
a
you
man and get
exactly?
pregnant?
So how does that happen?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
What if the girlfriend want to go have sex with a man?
My girlfriend?
Yeah, and get pregnant.
That's how you get it with a schlong. That's how you
Okay.
get pregnant.
Is that what that is?
Because you're not shooting out no baby.
No, okay, so first of
Oh
all.
my God!
They got us wild.
So first of all, listen. First of all, my girlfriend, whoever's out there, wherever she's at, okay? Wherever she's at, you know who you are. If she wouldn't be my girlfriend.
It's cheaper to keep her. It's cheap. What I'm saying
Let
is,
her answer the
wait, because
question.
I'm saying, well, let her answer, but let me tell you, it's
That's how she do me and I
cheaper. It's cheaper to go get a real dick to shoot a baby in.
Can we say
than for you to
schlong?
go, than for you to go to a sperm bank and spend thousands of dollars that you
So
don't
I
have.
don't. Hey, listen. You're right. It is cheaper, right? But who is thinking about stuff like that? You know, like any sexual act that me and my chick are doing is gonna be between me and my chick. If we choose to bring Betty in, cool. If not, that's fine. But ain't gonna be.
But you don't never bring Idris in.
No,
So it's just
what-
you and
what
your
no,
girlfriend.
you
So you never gonna
I'm
bring
just
it
saying.
in.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's clear this up, because he just up and come, okay? But everybody else, that ain't come.
So you're not gonna bring Peter.
Yeah, no, Pete can't come. Pete
Okay.
got to stay
You're not
home.
gonna bring Eve in, you're gonna bring
Now you're not gonna bring Adam.
you're not gonna bring Eve in, you're not gonna bring Adam.
See what I'm talking about?
You're
You
gonna
quiet.
Just put it together. But no, my point is, like, I get what you're saying, and it's not about finances, it's not about none of that. First of all, because it's straight people out here with broke ass, sorry ass baby daddies. There's some broke ass, sorry ass baby mamas out here. Y'all know, because we know. We all know it has nothing to do with sexual orientation or what your preference is. It's you and your partner. Like, if that's the route that y'all decide to go, that's y'all's business. That's not for me. If that's what you want to do, you can do that over there, away from me. But that's not my preference.
So
That's my
Treya
chick will do
says
that.
that's what we are created to do. Our decision to be with a woman does not curb the natural desires of womanhood. So then my question becomes,
What's
if
her
that a Treya,
Bam.
a Treya,
Heart
a
that.
Treya,
Take them.
a Treya, Taylor.
Check. HT,
And
what up?
then Amber Marshall says turkey baster question mark. So my question becomes,
Now, because once it hits the air, the baby's dead.
she should know that.
All the babies put through her throat.
Throat. Call me the throat goat.
Okay.
No, we're not calling you that.
Ah!
Y'all,
You need to behave.
bring it back. Next question.
Okay, so let's get back to the question.
I'm dead.
Okay, so this is a question for everybody. What are the 3 reasons people stray away from the church? And I think, what are the 3 reasons y'all think that people stray away
People
from
being
the church?
judgmental, not making you feel comfortable, casting judgment, throwing stones when they live in a glass house, stuff like that.
I think a lot of people may stray away from the church because they feel like some of the folks that are in the church are here.
Well, I strayed away from the church.
Please.
God help me.
Here we go.
God help me, because the church is in me. I can't go inside the church right now. Because my hands move quicker than my mouth.
We're gonna pause that. We're gonna pause that question.
You remember that time on my birthday we went to, and that man was trying to. You remember? Baby, when I tell you, Jelly, girl, if you going out with somebody and they don't, and you got your hands up and they ain't got their hands up, they can't be your friend.
Can't be,
You know
can't
what I'm
be.
saying? Boy,
Don't encourage that.
And then you'll be acting like she won't, but she would have her hands up too when she was there.
This is true. Now this is true. I used to love to fight, but I've been delivered. Now I just will fight. I don't love it no more.
What are the 3 reasons why you think people stray away from church?
I think some of the reasons people stray away from the church are because people are hypocritical, because people are judgmental, but I think the other part of it is because the leadership is not as honest as they portray to be in the pulpit.
You can't tell me.
Let me finish that.
Because I told you that. Because I told you that. I gave you that good idea.
No, you told you that.
I said, because it's hard for me to go to new churches. When the pastor is up there telling me one thing and then go outside the door.
Let me tell you why, though. Let me tell you why. And I'm not bashing the church because I am saved and I do attend church and I'm a worship leader and all of that. Okay, I am. I'll lay my hands and pray in a minute. Don't try me. Don't push me. Now, the reason I said that is because the reason I said that is because in leadership, wherever you find it, it is difficult to be your true self unless you are comfortable in your true skin. In presidency, Donald Trump, I'm talking about you. In politics, in church, at your job, it is hard to be your true authentic self if you are not comfortable in your own skin. Which means if you're not comfortable in your own skin, then you portray a thing that you are not. And when you portray a thing that you are not, because you're in leadership, then you have to hold the other people accountable to the thing you portrayed and not to the thing you are.
Preach.
And that's why, and I think I'm not condoning what the church does at all, but I understand it because I've been in leadership. And until I got comfortable in my own skin, you'll find me leading worship in a girdle or two. Breast high and lifted up. Why? Because I'm not necessarily comfortable with all of my curves. And until I get absolutely comfortable with all of my curves, then I'll be able to do something to change it. You see what I'm saying? Until you're comfortable, absolutely 100% comfortable in the person that you are, when you're in leadership, you have a tendency to be more
How long do you have to get comfortable? Like, that's my thing. Like, but you get up and you preach and tell us, don't go and smoke weed, don't smoke crack, but then you come in the door smelling like leftover.
This is true, and it happens, and it's reality. It is reality. I know several. Okay, I'm gonna read a few comments because y'all commented a lot. I'm gonna read them real quick. What? Please don't wait.
That man said there's a lot of hoeing going on in the pulpit. Do you hear me? It's the pastor sleeping with these deaconess. Do you hear me?
So Trina says, Trina, I'm sorry, I'm butchering names. Lowry says tradition, rules and judgment, and lack of relationships. That's a big one too.
What was her name?
Tina Lowry.
Girl.
Everett said people just need to
Hey, Miss Lowry.
Everett said people just need to stay at home. Then people are hypocritical, judgmental, and all the outside of church at home and
let me
work
say this.
and family.
Let me say this. This is the reality. Until we have open and honest conversations like those that happen on this platform, you will always have people who stand on their side of the opinion with a judgmental eye. It will always happen because the reason people argue is because I want to be heard and you want to be heard. So we now are both, I'm louder than you, you get louder than me, I put my hands on you, you put your hands on me. It gets out of control. It gets out of control because everybody wants to be heard, and the reality is when you have a forum, where you can have the absolute conversation and just be all out. Again, I don't agree with the decision, but I can listen. I can hear. I still love the two of them and all of you in the comment section. I still have the capacity to do that. And I think when you don't understand that you can have a disagreement and still love each other and then totally understand or hear the other side, there'll always be, oh, I'm in my feelings about you. I'm in my feelings about you. The reality is, Everett, you go to work, you got the same kind of principles. But you'll never have the conversation at work. Why? Because it's set up that you are under the influence of somebody else. You got a boss. You got to do whatever your boss say, regardless of how your boss feeling that day, regardless of what your boss thinking that day. You got to do. It's set up that way. It's set up that way. Our lives don't have to be that way. I agree.
Okay, y'all. So let's go to another hot topic. Let's talk about Zaire blessing Dwayne. Let's talk about Zaire. That's Dwayne Wade's son.
Oh.
So he is 12 years old.
You mean
Zaire. Whatever nigga.
Look
name
real
is.
fast. Veronica says that's what needs to stop. Give each other. Come on, Veronica, you put it in the comments section.
What you say, girl?
She said give each other grace.
Hey,
Come on here.
baby, don't play
Yes.
the humble shit. Baby, don't play the humble shit.
Come on,
Okay? Shoot.
Okay, so what's his name?
The subject is Israelite
Zion.
Day. The subject is sexuality. Okay? That's the subject.
Yeah.
So his name is Zaire.
Zaire.
Zaire Blessing. Dwayne, this is Dwayne Wade's son. He's 12 years old, so he's decided that he wants to make modifications to his body, and he no longer wants to be a boy. He now wants to identify as
A girl.
a girl. So he's 12, y'all. Do y'all think that because I read a lot of different comments, do y'all think that he's too young?
He's too young.
He's too young to be making these type of body modifications
He's
to
too
himself?
young.
What do you mean body modifications? Just dressing?
No, he wants to
chop
actually
his
have the
penis off.
surgery to be
At
trans.
12?
Yeah.
Okay, so, permanent modifications, permanent changes, I think 12 is too young, in my opinion. I think, well, first and foremost, let me say this. I want to commend his mom and his dad and his, and Gabrielle, because you need to create a space and an environment for your child to be absolutely comfortable.
Absolutely.
And to be able to come to you and talk to you about whatever their issues are, period, right? And they are doing the damn thing, so let's get that out of the way. Chopping stuff off, though?
That's too far.
Well, I don't want to say it's too far, but for 12
For his
years old,
age,
for his
that's
age,
right, yeah.
for 12 years old, your little man ain't even dropped yet. So I think we need to just hold on.
That's
a
still
little
big as
bit.
a wink, as we
You
know.
know,
Troy
and, you
Snow
know,
says
just
my mom and
give it
daddy
a couple-
would have beat my
Yeah,
ass.
no, I think my man should be able to, like support his kid, and if you want to dress how you want to dress, maybe I'll put some heels on and some makeup with you. We can do it. Like if that's what you want to do. But surgery, making changes at that young of an age, your brain isn't fully developed yet. For you.
I agree.
You know, I don't think that not permanent changes. No, not
I
permanent
agree.
changes.
I feel like being okay with them wanting to be gay or whatever they choose to be, that's fine. But as far as them being that young, changing themselves, because what if you want, like you're 12, like what if you want to be back who you are?
Yeah.
Can't you reattach it?
No, you can't go from you can't.
Once you go, you cannot go
Yeah.
back. There is no go back.
Well, I have to disagree with
Well,
y'all.
there is a few.
I think that once you're in middle school, I really think, because that's when everybody starts having sex and starts finding themselves. So I feel like once you're in middle school, girl, I know your whole life. Anyway, I feel like once you're in middle school, I feel like you should be able to make those executive decisions for yourself. I mean, and it really depends on like the parent. Like if somebody comes, if I had a boy and my boy came to me, and my boy came to me at the age of 12 and he's like, Mom, I'm like, and he was like really able to explain to me, exactly the reason why he wants to change from having a penis to a coochie, then I'm gonna go for it. I mean,
in middle school.
So I have so many things to
but
say.
because middle school is when people are getting pregnant.
Absolutely
You're
not. But
you're
you're gonna let your child decide that she wants to be pregnant in middle school and let her have a kid?
That's not a body modification.
It is a body modification. It's a whole person growing inside of you.
That's a life modification, not a body.
It's the same thing.
And Aaron came to me and said, Mommy, I'm a size A, I want a size B. If you could come up with the money,
Arian, you better not never come and tell her nothing like that while you in middle school. You better not be watching this. I wish she would. Your Amy ain't having it. I wish she would. No, she ain't. She ain't. And let me tell you why. Because when you... I got mad.
It's okay.
Let me tell you why. Because when you make those kind of changes, first of all, in middle school, your body is not done changing.
You might go into a beat. You don't know.
That is the middle of puberty.
Yeah.
You go through puberty from 7, 8-ish, all the way up until almost 17, bro. Your body is still changing.
I can see
When
that,
you mess
Amber.
with hormones, that's why women have hot flashes because of hormones. That's why little kids act like fools because of hormones. And no, you're going to try and change your body from male to female, inject yourself with hormones. Hormones can cause cancer. Did y'all know that?
But that goes back to, are you born
Like
gay?
you can have so many.
If you knew that you was gay at 6 years old and you ain't changed since then.
So Jamon said, DeFreeze says he is too young. Trolley says my mama and daddy would have beat my ass. Veronica says absolutely. Trolley says kids don't know what they want. DeFreeze says when you can make adult-like decisions for himself, then he can make that choice for himself.
Yeah.
Andre
I'm not
says
saying
when
he
he's grown.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have the opportunity to change. I'm just saying I think you need to wait until he's older.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
like if I still have to
Until
pay
you
your bills
experience
and I still
life.
have to pay
Yes.
you can't make
That's
that
too many
like
things.
that.
I want to do it on my mama tab, not on mine when I got the
She ain't had none of them kind of surgeries either, huh? And she an adult. She ain't.
Look,
Amber says I think they
I'm just
should
trying to
have
breast
wait
reduction. Who's
until
willing to pay for a breast reduction? That's what I'm trying to do.
and a lift and a mommy makeover. Now I'm gonna have that.
I'm just trying to get these bad boys.
And then as soon as I do, y'all better not say nothing to me. Do you hear me?
Okay, new body, who this?
How you doing?
Okay.
Huh?
Listen.
Amber.
Next question.
Amber says I think they should wait until after they no longer need parental consent before doing permanent body modifications. If a parent has to sign and pay for it, you're too young. I totally agree. Israelite says the question is, at what age did he begin to actually know that you can get modification? That's a good question. The next question is he gay? Okay, how does he know he's gay? Those are good questions. I don't know nothing about, what's his name? Zaire?
How do you know you're gay?
Y'all don't.
That's the question. That's the question. How do you know you're gay?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You asked me?
Yeah.
That's the question?
Yeah, how do you know you're gay?
Because I like women. I don't like men.
How do you know? Have you ever tried it with men?
Girl, you know my whole life, don't you?
I do.
What
But
do you know?
These people don't know.
They know.
What about you, Ray? How do you know?
I had a whole boyfriend for 3 years. Okay.
I've
Yeah.
always had an attraction to
Girl, long time ago.
have now I have had sex with a woman.
You have?
Yes.
You didn't like it?
Was it stinky or something? I mean, did it smell like tilapia and that's let you go and be with another man? Damn, hell no.
Tilapia? Really?
Lord,
Meanwhile,
Lord, the smell you gave to these fish, they really the carry around their panties.
yeah, why you got so much experience with
Tilapia?
what smell you done? Smell like what?
Tilapia?
No. Anyway, go.
She better not
This
never.
is not.
I swear to
This
God.
is not for me.
I swear to God, you better not try this one because if you want to sneak around, I'm gonna come take pictures and y'all gonna be all over the internet. Then I'm gonna slap her head off and
Don't
yours.
be famous.
Don't
You
never
got
try.
video me, make sure you tag me is all I'm asking.
Philip said,
Y'all let him ask
wait,
this question.
Philip said it smelled like Persian sweet. Thank you, Ray. Close.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Anyway,
Persian sweet as
let him answer this
tangerine.
question. His answer.
Go ahead, Ray.
It's just I have had sex with a woman.
Mhm.
Not willingly, but it was not. It was just wasn't for me. It wasn't something that I prefer.
We got a call in
Yeah.
person.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, who is the caller?
Hello? Oh, y'all from
Hey, Miss Johnson.
She said, read all of what she said, y'all. Here go my mama.
What she say?
Well, she not here physically, she here in spirit. All right, we got you, mama. Bye.
What she say?
Read all of what she said.
No, thank you.
What her mama say?
It's not on there.
I got a question for you guys. So, how did or how does your family feel about your sexual preference?
My family, in the beginning, it was rough.
What you mean rough? Like they weren't accepting of it, they didn't want you to come around?
Not they didn't want me to come around, but they wasn't accepting of it. But now they're accepting, they accept my lifestyle, wherever I'm with, they accept it as well.
That's good. I'm glad they came around.
Yeah,
I
me
know, you know, some people have stories like that, you know, like where it was like a rough coming
Yeah.
out or they had to do like a whole coming out story. I am thankful, you know, that I didn't have that. You know, I have a very loving and supportive family. They did, you know, when I first started to dress a little bit more masculine, or just starting to be more myself and doing what I do. They did try to. That's how long she's been around. That's how long she's been around. But the older, and let's be clear, because this is all generational too, right? The generations before me and my sisters and stuff, right? Like, my mom's generation, my aunt and stuff like that, they had issues with the way that I dressed. They weren't necessarily concerned with the fact that I preferred women over men. They didn't like the way that I expressed it in my appearance. But because I have the best big sister in the world, okay? Shout out to Veronica Humphrey. She told him straight up, like, y'all can't stop that girl from dressing how she want to dress. Like, as long as she's not doing anything she's not supposed to be doing, let her express herself. And I was able to fully and completely and authentically be myself because I had that support system.
Yeah.
I had someone in my corner who was like, y'all not gonna like bully her and do this to her. And it's not even bullying, I shouldn't say it like that, but just let her dress however she wants to. Who cares, So I didn't. It was crazy that I was bringing girls home. It was girls calling instead of boys. Like I said, I had a little boyfriend for like 3 years. Shout out to you because you probably watching. But we're best friends now to this day. He's like a brother to me. But it's like that's just not my preference.
Can y'all agree that it's harder for a male to tell his family that he's gay than a female?
I think that society has this connotation that it is harder for men to be gay because when you think about two women, people apparently love that. And I'm like, two crazy emotional people together, that's really not, it's really not all it's cracked up to me, okay? It's really not as cracked up to me, all right? I know, okay? But I personally don't feel that way. I think it can be tough either way, but it's about preference.
I think it's tougher because men are supposed to be protectors. And to see the simple fact that me and you are, we're dressing the same and you're not, I feel like I'm the protector.
Wait, what?
Did she go?
Like me and Ray, y'all see how cute Ray is dressed right now? He got his sparkly shoes on. He got his pink shirt. If me and Ray go out, I'm gonna be fighting the nigga. Ray not fighting nobody. This is not a good example because y'all about to go ahead and
Ray got something to say.
I will fight. Don't let them think. I will fight.
Don't give me funny.
And we will win.
Ray gonna be too busy trying to look cute.
No. You can't be a good example because you'll square up anywhere, okay? You'll square up at the church house.
Oh, that's not true. She absolutely does fight. But we're working on deliverance.
Do you hear me? I'm working on praising the name of Jesus. Because when there's something about the name of Jesus,
Yes.
something
You can't do that and talk about Jesus at the same time.
Say Jesus again.
something about the name of Jesus.
Now, what's the next question? I'm about to walk out with y'all. What's the next question?
Now, Troy, I know you'll get somebody ass for real. Now, Troy, he in the comment, I don't know if you want me to say what your sexual preference is,
No.
but he used to live 2 houses down from me.
I know.
Bitch, put your bitch.
But
He's already said in the chat that he is.
okay, well, Troy, he'll
You
fight.
can be on the show sometime to talk.
Yeah. Troy, he'll fight. But y'all,
So she got. What you fit to ask?
well, I mean, the last question that I did have, it was about the opposite sex. Like, have you ever tried it before? But Danielle already blurted that question y'all asked.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever fallen in love with someone of the
Been
opposite
there,
sex?
done that in love?
Mhm.
No, it's impossible.
Really? Why do you think that?
I'm not attracted to men in that capacity. And in order for me to be in love with you, I have to have an emotional and mental connection.
Do you think it's possible?
Not for me. I think
I'm
it's
just
possible
saying for people.
I mean, you love who you love, And me in love with a man, like I'm all Tweety Birds and hearts and no.
So my last question is, if there were one thing you would want people to know on your perspective, what would it be?
About being
Mm-hmm.
No, we people, we human beings. Like, we're not going to attack you just because I'm a lesbian. Don't mean that I like you just because you're a woman. Like people assume that I'm interested in you just if I'm being friendly or just to say what's up. Like, No, you know, like it just everybody decide. I don't like the separation between stuff, guys. Like I like women, we like men, they like men, but it's still
But then
it's
you
all
have some
love, you know?
homophobic people. Is it homophobic?
Yes.
That just don't like to be around the feminine gay people. But it's just, I feel like because of my sister, like I've grown relationships with a lot of our god brothers. We consider them god brothers. We've grown so close to them or whatever. So I just don't see. I mean, everybody knows that I used to hang around. I can't say names and stuff, but I used to hang around. Yeah, they're people. At the end of the day,
that's what it is. We're just people, guys. We're not like this weird unicorn walking on earth. Like I'm just Whitney, he's just Ray.
That's it.
And it's just the opposite spectrum of sexuality. I mean, we can discuss that for part 2. Sexuality between men and women is just the opposite spectrum. I mean, I don't know all the details of what happens in,
The bedroom.
the bedroom, and
with the strap-ons and shit, but y'all, like, do the strap-ons have
What are you doing with this question?
clearly because I almost, my heart almost stopped. It
Listen,
almost
God,
stopped.
funny story, man. My sisters, because obviously, I participate in grown folk activities with strap-ons, toys, whatever.
You don't walk around with it,
got to
do
do.
you? That'll be up.
No. I don't walk around with it.
Can I ask a question if it's not too
Please, no, go ahead.
What? So when you use a strap-on, do you have an experience or just your partner?
Oh, you mean like it's something? I don't do
Like, do you,
penetration.
but I'm saying, do you like?
Oh, do I get excited?
Yes.
I don't have do I have climax or do I have orgasm from?
Yes.
No, but when we done, I expect you to handle your business.
Ha. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
A finger in the butt keeps the babies away.
No, we're not this way. Ain't no butts being poked around here. No, but it's really just about preference, like it's like it's some same opposite sex couples use dildos, use strap-on. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not like this taboo. It's a taboo thing because people like to talk about it, makes people uncomfortable. But like, no, that's just not my preference. I don't like penetration, which is why I would never work with a man because what we gonna do? But no, like my chick, if we doing our thing and I'm handling business, like I feel good, I get excited. I can't orgasm off of that. But when we get done and we take stuff off, we still women and I still expect to get my rocks off. You know what I mean? Not with strap on because I know we.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
Before we get this live, we do want to thank our special guests for coming on. We really appreciate your enthusiasm and everything that you've done thus far. We got a few shout outs. Y'all see our shirts. We got our shirts made by Christy Studio Crafts. If you see me, every shirt that I've ever put on my body, I've been tagging her in it. If you need professionalism, go to her. She's quick. I mean, we just told her we need these shirts day before yesterday, and she got them to us. We also want to shout out BJBL Academic Resources. That's our mother. She is our backbone to everything, so we do want to shout her out as well. If you need any academic resources for your kids, she will find those different resources for you. So please reach out to her.
We want to shout out Cajun, Down South Cajun Eats. The owners are twins. They are amazing. They just opened up a physical location in Pflugerville. I'll make sure to tag them in the post. I'll make sure to put their location down there as well. Darius Alexander is the shoemaker of Alexander's, and he got some bad shoes. Not just for females, but for men as well. He has some amazing stuff. I'll make sure to put his website on there as well. Y'all, let's support black business, not just black business, but let's support business, period. Let's be lovers of each other and try to understand each other and stop hating. Don't hate on each other.
We have Whitney here. She has her own black business called Quakes Auto Detailing. So if you need your car, she will travel to you. She will do what she needs to do. She will leave your car sparkling. Listen, my car hasn't been washed in years.
That's
and
a
she
problem.
came and washed my car, and it looks totally brand new. So if you need your car detailed, Quakes Auto Detailing, you can reach out to Facebook.
Straight up. And just real quick, I have something to say. Guys, we're sitting here talking about serious stuff. It's all love. But at the end of the day, the most important thing are your voices.
Absolutely.
Guys, we need to get out and vote. We got to get people in positions that not only look like us, but that support us, that have the same values and ethics as we do. So please do not forget to do that.
Absolutely.
You got to get Senior Cheeto out of here.
Come on, Senior Cheeto.
With that being said, if you haven't already, please like, please comment, How you? Where's Dre? Dre, come on.